Hello everyone and welcome back to Vlada's Place. Donuts is one of the kids' favorite desserts, so I'm going to show you today how to make a homemade donuts with your kids. We'll start with 3 cups of warm milk and half a cup of oil. To that we'll add 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of vanilla, 2 egg yolks, and about a tablespoon of dry yeast. Next is a tablespoon of salt, and we're gonna add a zest of 1 lemon. Once done, we're gonna mix everything really well before we gradually add 5 cups of all-purpose flour. As you add the flour, it's very important to work in the flour well into the dough to create smooth consistency. Oh my goodness, look at this. Oh, it looks really good. And if you have a good yeast, your dough will rise quickly. So now that this has risen, we're gonna use additional cup of flour to form even thicker dough. Some of the best dishes and best recipes happen on the days when you have the least time. But today is the day when this recipe needed to happen. I have a very dear neighbor who does a lot for me and my kids, and he puts up with a lot from our little gang. So one way to repay him is to make some of his favorite dishes. And one of his favorite things are these particular homemade donuts that his mother-in-law used to make. She had some ties or family from Poland, so she would make this dessert, and this had to be stuffed with the plum jam. So I made a plum jam for this special occasion, and today is the day to make this recipe, and I want to share it with you. All right, dough had time to rise, and now that it's activated, it's just going to continue to rise. So we want to work quickly. Just going to get the dough out of the dish. And by the way, it smells so wonderful. You can smell the vanilla, you can smell the lemon, and if you notice, just by sitting, the dough got a whole new consistency. So it's very airy, very fluffy, and it's kind of thin. And this is exactly what we want, because this will enable dough to rise and to form nice big air pockets inside, which in return will make nice and soft donuts. So if you're noticing, I have quite a bit of flour on the bottom, and I'm gonna go ahead and just bring the dough, all the ends, to the middle part. I'm just going to gently work it in, this, and there we go. And then we're going to form the bed of flour, and we're going to lay it on this bed of flour, and using the rolling pin, we're going to thin it to the desired thickness. Now, while you're rolling the dough out, work gently, meaning don't press too hard, because we don't want to squish those air pockets in the dough. Just go gently, start from the center and work your way out. And then it comes the fun part. So when it comes to thickness, you can choose your own thickness. So I like mine thin, and if we have done everything right, once we put them on a hot oil, they're just going to fluff up, and you're going to have very little middle dough. Most of it will be just crust. So what's left here, I'm just going to incorporate it all together and try to make another batch. So for those of you who are following my work, you know how passionate I am about family, kids, and community. And so if you have a minute, please take a moment to check out my charitable organization who's focused on reconnecting families and communities in America. I think this is a time when we need this more than ever. And you can find out more about my work online on www.vladav.com. And also, I would like if you would follow us on our Instagram and Facebook. and as well as Twitter. And by all means, subscribe and leave us your comments here on YouTube. And this one, instead of cutting it in pieces, we're just going to cut it like a pizza pie. Let the dough rest for another 15 minutes and then we're going to fry them. And for that you need a deep dish like this one and about 2 to 3 inches of vegetable oil. Make sure oil is nice and hot before you start adding the dough, and reduce it after that to medium heat. Frying part goes fairly quickly, so you're going to need about 1.5 minutes on each side, or until they are golden brown. So stay vigilant and stay near the dish because you will need to keep turning them and make sure that they get golden brown on both sides. Once done with cooking, I would suggest to let them rest for good 30 to 40 minutes and let them cool down. This is important for a couple of reasons. First, the donuts is still cooking. Once you pull it out of the hot oil, it's still basically cooking inside. And the second one is that if you cut them too prematurely or while they're hot, they might lose their shape. But if you're patient, you might just end up with the perfect donut that's ready to be stuffed with the homemade jam. Now, this is definitely a perfection. So we're just gonna roll them in powdered sugar and we are ready to serve. While our family is trying to eat less sweets, I'm not depriving my kids of desserts. Instead, I try to make them homemade, to incorporate all natural ingredients and to invest time in making it, so this way kids and I spend some quality family time together. Thank you for spending time with us today, and keep an eye on your public access television station and our television cooking show called Cooking and Kids. We hope to see you in your neighborhood soon. Bye!